so there are a couple more people signed up, but I'm sure they'll join when they can. I will generally leave all the talking to our fantastic speakers tonight, but I just did want to open with this one thought, which is that, you know, we're all in lockdown and we all know it already. We've heard it all before, but there are some things that can't be locked down, right? You know, we had the other day, the sun was out, it was bright, it was warm, it felt like summer was coming. And it kind of just got me thinking, like, the seasons can't be locked down. There are certain things that just, it's impossible to lock them down. Life continues, life is still happening. There's certain things that are still dynamic and still alive, no matter how many restrictions are going on in Melbourne. So it kind of got me thinking about the Jewish calendar as well, right? We have all of the festivals in the Jewish calendar. We've got Pesach, we've got Purim, and each of them brings with it a specific mood and a specific message and a specific calling to each of us. And that stuff doesn't change. That stuff doesn't pause. That stuff doesn't stop, no matter whether we're in lockdown or not. So that kind of inspires me to think about, you know, Rosh Hashanah is coming. It may feel a bit different because we're not looking forward to the same family gatherings and going to shul and all that stuff. But Rosh Hashanah is happening whether we like it or not, whether Dan Andrews allows us to go to shul or not. And I think this is just a fantastic opportunity for us to come together and just get into the mood of it, think about what's going to be happening on Tuesday and Wednesday, spiritually speaking, and within each of us, within each of our lives. So I'm excited to explore that with you guys. We'll kick it off with a bit of a drink. I understand some of you guys will just want to watch along, probably most of you, which is totally fine. Think of it as a tutorial. It's almost like when you want to do a home workout, but you'd rather just watch the workout. I'm very guilty of that. So consider it the same kind of thing. I'm going to head over to my kitchen. And if you are joining along, then yeah, join with me. I would love if everyone could turn their cameras on. I know it's like, I mean, some of you can't, but that's fine. Yeah, if you could turn your cameras on so I could see who I'm talking to, that'd be awesome if you're comfortable. And yeah, I'm heading to the kitchen. I'll be there in a sec. Alrighty, hello. Yes, can we do something about that echo?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I've got a big mason jar. This is a super simple and easy cocktail for Rosh Hashanah. Basically, what makes it Rosh Hashanah is pomegranate. These guys were so hard to find because apparently it's not the season, but the Jews still all want it anyway because it's Rosh Hashanah. And why we have pomegranates on Rosh Hashanah is because they're full of seeds and we want our year to be full of good deeds. So that's kind of why we have the pomegranate. We're going to be mixing a quick drink with some pomegranate and some other good stuff. So I've got my big jar to mix it all in. We're going to start off with our pomegranate juice. So guys, if you're not making it now, you have the recipe, so you can do it on Rosh Hashanah if you want, or whenever you want, whenever suits you. So I'm just going to get my third of a cup. So this is my third of a cup. Pour in about a third of a cup pomegranate juice. And this is also single serve, which is really good if you're, for social distancing reasons, if you're just having a drink with yourself, since that's what it looks like nowadays. So starting with your pomegranate juice, and then you are going to add your juice from half a lime. I've already cut it, but you can just slice it if you haven't yet, and just squeeze it in. This is where you usually get juice all over yourself, but I'm going to do my best. So squeezing it in, just getting all that juice out. If you're fancy, you can use a juicer. I'm not fancy. I'm DIY tonight. Okay, so getting it all in there. So pomegranate juice, lime juice. We're now doing grapefruit juice. Okay, so it's a pretty tart drink. I'll show you how to make it sweeter. If you like sweet, Bianca's asking if I deliver. I was gonna say, by the way, Yossi's gonna have to drink this whole thing because I've had my fair share today from all the experimentation. Insert joke about how tipsy I am or something, I don't know, but this is all for Yossi. So grapefruit juice in there, squeezing it in. The grapefruit one gets a bit messy as well, so just careful, but if you just squeeze it kind of like that,
So about a quarter of a grapefruit, just squeezing it the other way to get all the juice out. All right, so we've done pomegranate juice, lime, grapefruit, and now we are getting to the fun part, the shot. So just pour yourself a standard shot.
Is that Belvedere?
This is, I'm really not an expert, but yes, Belvedere.
Good choice. Good choice. You went for the
That was
expensive.
Yossi. That was, well, actually Yossi's dad. I guess he's the one with the good taste. So standard shot. Here we go. Calls for about 40 ml, but I'm just eyeballing it. Throw in your shot. Then we do the ginger, which I think is crucial. So let me just get it. So this is your ginger. I just have a knob, and basically you just grate it as much as you want right into the drink. It just adds like a really like tangy, fresh taste to it, and it's awesome. So I'm just grating that in there. All right, that should be enough. I'm just, what was that?
Did you peel it?
Did I peel it? Good question. I did peel it. I didn't peel all of it, but I did peel it. I peeled the end that I grated, so it's not disgusting, I promise. Okay, so scooping all that ginger in there. And I know Yossi likes ginger, so I've made it really gingery. Okay, ginger's all in there, and now we shake. So I'm gonna add some ice into here. We're gonna give it a shake. That's gonna get the drink really infused. If you have like a fancy cocktail set, feel free. I don't. You're welcome to buy me one as a gift, please and thank you. Just gonna get my ice. Okay, so I'm putting some ice in here. Chuck it in there. I've always actually really wanted one of those cocktail sets, but like I feel like it's like, I don't know. I'm not very good at buying myself gifts, I guess.
Is that a hint Yossi?
What was that?
Is that a hint Yossi?
You get it, Bianca. You can be a bit slow on the uptake. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so I've got some ice in there, and now I'm just going to put the lid on. This is where I recommend muting me because this is noisy, but I'm basically going to shake this. It says to shake it for a minute. I'm just going to kind of estimate it, but basically you shake this up. This I didn't know, which is that the ice basically crushes up and gets infused throughout the drink, so it makes it like really cold and refreshing. And then we'll strain it. Okay, so I really highly recommend you mute me right now.
Right, baking straight. Are you tired yet?
Sorry?
Are you tired yet?
It's a workout, by the way. All right, I reckon that's enough. Okay, so then we strain it. We're almost there, guys. I promise it's a really simple recipe. So it gets a bit hard to open this jar because it's like all frosty, but let's try this. All right, Yossi, I think I may need your help. Oh no, I got it. Okay, lids off. Strainer, just a simple sieve. I've got this little, actually, you know what? I'm nervous about the size of that. I'm gonna get a taller glass. So I'm using just a regular glass. Really, this is a spin on a Moscow Mule, which you're supposed to drink in like one of those mugs. I don't have that, but if you did, that would be cool. So I'm just gonna strain it through here into the glass. Okay. And then I'm just gonna There's my drink. Now I'm yet to add the toppers, which is a bit of ginger beer. This is ginger ale. You can't really get kosher ginger beer that easily, but ginger ale is similar and it'll do the job. So I'm just estimating this, but about that much. It was like about a shot and a half that it called for. And then last but not least, our champagne / sparkling wine. So if you want it sweet, because this is a bit tangy, you can do sparkling apple juice instead, and then it'll just be really nice and sweet. But I'm gonna do the wine because that's the real thing. Yossi, brace yourself. And then you just top it up. And if we're really gonna do this drink justice, we are going to just quickly garnish with a bit of pomegranate arils. So I've cut my pomegranate, and then you just, I mean, people say that you can tap the back of it with a spoon and get the seeds out, but that literally never works for me. So I just end up cutting it and making a massive mess. But I'm basically taking just these seeds over here, sprinkling them in, and then you get a lovely pomegranate twist on a Moscow Mule, and it's delicious. So there you go. You can see the pomegranate seeds sitting at the bottom, and enjoy. Yossi, this is all yours. Okay, so I'm going to join Yossi back in the living room. So just give me a sec.
That drink looks delicious, Yossi. Enjoy.
I think the Zoom meeting shall only continue once that glass is empty.
Skull.
Looks like I'm the luckiest guy.
Here is the
It looks
Yossi.
like I'm the luckiest guy alive right now in this room.
He's a piss pot through and through.
Everyone shows their drink.
So they say. He tried to go to heaven, but he went the other way. He
He
went
went down, down.
Come on, Yossi, drink it.
What?
Drink it. L'chaim.
Next test, please.
L'chaim.
Hi, everyone.
L'chaim.
Here's to a wonderful year ahead. Full of goodness, happiness, joy, freedom.
Yes, you did.
Amen.
Amen.
Din.
How did I do?
Yum,
They would never know.
yum. I strongly recommend you to try this drink. If not tonight, it's a great Rosh Hashanah drink, pomegranates and all.
It's nice and simple, so that's good. Okay, so now that we've all got our drinks, if it's BYO or if you've got your pomegranate mule like Yossi, what I thought we would do is kind of just take a step back and think about, what I said before about this holiday. It's coming up, Rosh Hashanah is coming. Many of us kind of are used to relying on, the rabbi sermon in shul, or that family gathering, or that, memory of our grandmother's honey cake, or whatever it is, to kind of pull us into the spirit of the holiday. And because we don't have that this year, I think it's time that we kind of just have a discussion about it and think about what we can really take from this holiday for ourselves. So we'll start with Yossi. Yossi's going to talk a little bit about what this holiday is all about and how it applies to each of us, and then we'll finish off with the Fine Brothers, who I'm so excited to talk to about their journey and how they kind of take this message into their lives. So I guess, Yossi, if you want to start with, what I said before about how we're so used to Rosh Hashanah being family gatherings, going to shul, for Jews that go to shul only once a year or 3 times a year, this is the day they go, and that's kind of their way of celebrating it. And without like all of these reminders, I guess, or ways of connecting to Rosh Hashanah, what is Rosh Hashanah if it's not, that big family meal or going to shul?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And before I start, I want to say hi to everyone who's here in our Zoom chat, and hi to everyone who's following us on Facebook. It's great to see you here all tonight before the new year, on the last night. And it's a really good question, Ricky, because this year it's going to be really difficult to celebrate Rosh Hashanah, at least like we usually do. But it also gives us an opportunity to challenge ourselves and to think about what really is it all about. And is there a way we can celebrate it, even though we're not going to have the regular stuff, the regular going to shul, dinner with friends? And it gives us an opportunity to think about what it really is and how we can apply it to our lives even today. And I want to take us in a direction where Rosh Hashanah really is less about that big community gathering, whether it's in shul or with the family, and it's really about the individual, and the individual reflecting and thinking about what they can do in this world.
All right, so go for it. So what is it?
All right, so let's go back to what Rosh Hashanah is from a really basic level. Rosh Hashanah is the most ancient Jewish holiday because it's celebrating the birthday of humanity. It's the day when Adam and Eve were created, according to our tradition. And it's all about thinking, well, it's the day that God said to humanity that I want you to be my partners in perfecting this world and bringing it to its completion. So it's about what we're capable of, why we're here, the tools we've been given, and also thinking about how we're tracking in terms of completing the mission for which we're created.
All right, so I guess Rosh Hashanah is the birth of humanity. It's when humans were created and God kind of had this vision of humans doing something on this world. But that sounds kind of global. Is there something that applies to us individually as people within our own personal lives with each of our struggles and our the details of what we're going through?
Totally. And this is actually a really strong hint to this in the story of creation. When the story goes in the Torah that when God creates Adam, he creates him alone. And this is in contrast to all other species. All other species are created with male and female counterparts, besides for humanity. So Adam's created on the sixth day of creation alone. He gets lonely. And he tells God, I'm lonely, I need a counterpart. And God says, sure, here's Eve. And they get married, etc. The obvious question is, why create him alone? If anyways, he was going to need a counterpart, and surely God knew. And the rabbis of the Mishnah saw in this instance a deep message about the power of the individual. And they said the reason why Adam was created alone was to teach us that every person needs to say, the world was created for me. Every individual needs to look at the world and think, I've been given really special talents, skills, opportunities, and circumstances to achieve something really unique to me. We're all, in a sense, mini Adams. Imagine you were Adam and being put on planet Earth on day one, and there's not many people other than you. Your power to influence change and to achieve in the world is fantastic. So that's the personal message for Rosh Hashanah, that the individual has the power to achieve so much. And so there's both a collective message over here that we as humanity reflect and try to do better, but also the individual can think, hey, what am I capable of and how am I trying?
Well, yeah, so Rosh Hashanah is kind of that day to reflect on, what am I doing here and what can I do better to bring more good into the world?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So I guess the next big thing that everyone would be, wondering about obviously is Project High Holidays is out there trying to get everyone to listen to the shofar. It's like the thing. They're sending volunteers out into the streets, tooting these strange horns, and for some reason it's this major priority that everyone listen to the shofar. And if you're saying that the message is about this individual responsibility and the power of the individual, why is the shofar relevant to that? What is the shofar saying to us? We listen to the shofar. It's actually customary to do throughout the month preceding Tishrei, and I've been listening to it. And sometimes I wonder, what am I supposed to be thinking about while I hear the shofar? What's the point of it?
Yeah. So the shofar really, it speaks to the key theme of the holiday, because I'll start with an anecdote. They say a story about a villager back in Eastern Europe, and he goes to the big city, and he's strapped, and everything's a big big deal for him. It's a whole eye-opening experience to see so much going on in the big city. And one day, there's a big fire breaking out in the city square. And the sheriff of the town gets up on the roof and blows the trumpet. The villager's watching, and he's not sure what's going on. Why is the sheriff blowing the trumpet? There's a fire here. Surely you should be putting out the fire, getting pails of water, etc. And yet it goes out. And the villager says, wow, look, the big city there, this fantastic technology. You can get rid of fires by just blowing the trumpet. So he says, when I come back to my village, I'm going to too have a trumpet with me. And the next time the fire breaks out, he gets up on the roof of the biggest house in the village, and he tells his fellow villagers, no need to do anything over here. I'm going to blow the trumpet. And he blows himself blue, but nothing happens. And his fellow villagers tell him, you fool. It's not that the trumpet puts out the fire, it just lets us know there's a fire. And it's a small village, we all know there's a fire. Let's get busy with putting it out. And that anecdote is said in connection with the shofar, because the shofar is similar to that trumpet. The point of it is not in the blowing itself, but rather heeding its call. It's a very simple instrument. There's no notes. It's a simple ram's horn. There's no valves for multiple notes, and the Fine Brothers, I'm sure, are going to talk about their music, and we're going to hear about different musical scales, but the shofar is not it. It's really simple, unlike the typical instrument, because the goal over here is just to announce and to awake us. And the way I think of it is that we tend to live our lives in a way where we run on autopilot. We have our friends, our work, hobbies, books, shows that we like, and we tend to run with them. We just go on autopilot and we live our tomorrow is similar to today, which was similar to. And what the shofar is trying to do to us is to wake us up and ask us to see beyond that and think about the big questions we spoke about before, like, what am I doing here? What are my skills? What am I really good at? And how am I exercising that to really make a positive impact? So the theme of the shofar is asking us to reflect on the themes of Rosh Hashanah. I listen to that and I say, okay, let me step aside for a couple minutes today on Rosh Hashanah and think about these questions. I'm going to finish off my bit with a story that I think is really relevant to, celebrating Rosh Hashanah the way we are this year. There is a South African rabbi by the name of David Lapham, and he now lives in Ra'anana, Israel. Back in the day, in the 70s, he lived in South Africa. He was a rabbi there. And he was both a businessman and a rabbi. He had both pursuits. And he found it really difficult to juggle both. And he went to the Lubavitcher Rebbe in New York, and he said, look, there's no way I can handle both loads. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe had, on an ongoing basis, been encouraging him and saying, no, you've got to do your business work because you cause a tremendous Kiddush Hashem. You spread a wonderful name for the Jewish people and the work that you do. And as a rabbi, you're really helping people in their spiritual life. So you've got to do both. There's no way you can only do one. And he says, but there's just no way. There's only so many hours in a day. So the Rebbe tells him, I want to explain to you the way human relationships work. When you spend time with an individual and you influence them, you make an impact on them, it's not just that one person has influenced one other person. Rather, each of you become influenced, and then you in turn go influence someone else and someone else and someone else. It's a chain reaction. So though you only have a little bit of time in your day to dedicate to your community work, because most of your day is involved in what you're going to do, that little bit of time is so potent and can achieve so much. And therefore, keep on both responsibilities. And the reason I think this story is relevant this year is because this year, in a way, it feels like our ability to achieve, in a way, has been limited in so many ways. But there are certain ways that it hasn't. especially our ability to help others and to influence others. People who are less fortunate than ourselves, or I know someone who might be doing it tough, our ability to influence them hasn't been taken away. And when we just reach out to one person, it's not just reaching out to one person, because by effect, we're actually impacting and reaching many people. And that's the power of the individual. That's something special I think we can connect to on this year for Rosh Hashanah.
That's really cool. Thanks, Jos. I will add as well that I was reading something in just a magazine that came out for Rosh Hashanah, and someone wrote about this story where, you know, a group of women were on their way to New York for a women's convention, a Jewish women's convention, and they couldn't catch their flight, so they were stuck. So they sent word to the Rebbe, who was in New York, that they had gotten stuck and that they couldn't get on their flight, and therefore, what were they going to do? And the Rebbe responded to them that there is no such thing as stuck. And after a bit of back and forth, they said, no, we're actually stuck. And again, the response to them was, the Rebbe understands your situation, but you're not stuck. And what they understood from that was that there's no such thing as being stuck, that in every situation that we find ourselves in, there's actually a purpose that we're supposed to serve within that situation. So those women chose to use that opportunity to, I think they gave out Shabbat candles to the Jews who were in the airport with them, but they just took that message that we might feel restricted, we might feel that there's obstacles in our way, but we've always, back to that message about the creation of Adam, we've always got that purpose to serve in every single situation that we're in. So yeah, just thought I'd add that. Thanks, Yossi. Thank you for that. That was great.
Thanks, that's great.
You've got some way to go. Come on. Okay, so I'm really excited to introduce our keynote guest speakers tonight. Two guys, twin brothers, who I have to say, I only met you guys recently, but I'm so impressed with these guys' grit, ambition, the goals they have for themselves. And, you know, you would think some like people with high goals and lots of motivation and lots of, and, you know, really hardworking people might be quite arrogant, but these guys are just so down to earth, so great to be around, just so nice. And I'm really, really excited to kind of hear about what gets these guys going, how they keep positive and motivated at all times throughout their lives. So just a bit of an overview. They'll give us the whole rundown, but the Fine brothers are passionate about music. They are awesome DJs. We did a bit of a taster of their work on our Facebook story the other day, but if you guys have another sample you'd want to share with us tonight, I mean, up to you completely, but their music is awesome. It's inspired by, I think, South African, like Afrobeat type music. They'll clarify that, but yeah, so they're working really hard. Just recently. What was that?
I just said, hey, South African, woo!
Yeah. So they're working really hard to produce awesome music. They've put out their first single really recently, I think, which is so exciting. So yeah, I guess start us off with the reason kind of why we want them to talk to us is because they are really living this message of humans taking responsibility and setting high goals and achieving a lot in the world, and achieving a lot in this one life that each of us are given. So I guess Darren and Craig, start us off with your story. What got you into music? What inspired you guys? And really what kind of gave you the confidence to just get out there in the world and produce something? I know myself, like, even if I am creative ever, I'm so scared to share anything and put it out into the open. So tell us a bit about that, what it was like to put out your music.
Well, firstly, thank you for including us in the event and all the very nice, wonderful things that you've said about us. We really, really appreciate it. The backstory for the music, it goes back to South Africa and Botswana. So we were born, obviously, in South Africa. We grew up in Botswana, which is the country next door. And we played music from a very young age. I played the piano, Craig played the drums. We were like part of the jazz band at school. We loved it. And, you know, it was awesome for us and was part of our whole life. And I think to answer your second question, like the answer really goes back to Botswana in terms of why are we so keen to put it out there and we're not afraid and all that kind of thing? It's because we grew up in a place where we were always like the minority, and we were always taught, from a young age by our parents and whatever, that if you want something, you have to make it happen. And they said to us, if it's meant to be, it's up to me, they said. And so that's kind of like the mentality that we've always had going through, like we just did what we loved and we enjoyed the music. And for that reason, we were always keen to just continue to push it and do whatever we actually could with it. We didn't really do much with it when we were actually overseas. It's only been like in the last couple of years that we've been really trying to give it a go. But maybe Craig, tell us, how did we take the music from there and what's happened now?
Yeah, I guess for those of you that know much about South Africa or Botswana, especially being a bit of a minority, I only mention that because the Jewish people is a minority, so it's not something that any of us are not used to before, right? But for us, growing up was not like growing up in Australia. We didn't have an abundance of friends. This is going to sound kind of sad, but like we even struggled to have people to invite to our birthday parties because we didn't really fit in with like the majority. So we were very close with our parents. We were always playing sports or doing something on our own. We didn't really rely on anybody else to sort of be around us. And our parents, my mom comes from finance background and she's very clever. Our dad, he's also been very entrepreneurial. So I guess even growing up in the family household from a very young age, we were very used to, hey, we control our own destiny. No one's going to do it for you. So I guess taking that mentality, even when we were 13 years old in school, we had our own little business. We were doing candy floss, and flogging yo-yos. So our grandma at the time, she's still our grandma, but she bought us yo-yos for whatever it was, $10, and we sold them to people at school.
Selling in primary school are always so dodgy.
That was good. So yes, I guess that was a fast forward. We moved to Oz in 2012, and we'd always been keen on music and all this sort of stuff. So we naturally just continued it when we got to high school. So we were living in Sydney when we moved here, and then when we finished school, kind of the music stopped. I played the drums, Darren played the keyboard. And we decided when we finished studying in 2018, we went to Israel because we wanted to experience the high-tech space there. We kind of just wanted to see a little bit more about the world. So long story short, we were in Israel and our friends run the biggest nightclubs in Tel Aviv, where all the tourists go to. So naturally being a commodity in Israel, you're from Australia, all the Israelis love that. Our friends were like, hey, you guys should come and start playing at the nightclubs here, because at the time we were in we were doing electronic music, so not instruments anymore. And Daz, what happened when we started off? How did it happen? What we get up to?
We started playing at the clubs, and the more clubs we played at, it was great because all of our friends came to support, which was nice. And it just got to a point where we were making more money and having fun DJing than we were from our actual fintech jobs, for example, in Israel. And when we left Israel, we decided that we wanted to do something with the music. And, this was now 2019. We were thinking we're still pretty young. We may as well just give it a go. Worst case, we just waste a year of our life, but we're prepared to do it because, we're passionate about it. Doesn't matter if we waste a year, if it turns into something good. And for the last now 2 to 3 years, all we've been doing, we still work a full-time job and whatnot, but the ultimate goal has been, how can we make music into something? And then obviously, Ricky, as you know, 2 weeks ago, we had our first release, and it was with two big artists like Aloe Black and Paul Oakenfold, which we can tell you how that happened as well. But it just shows you start somewhere small, but if you're persistent enough, something can happen, some good can come.
I think the biggest message that we always take from everything is we were never, ever afraid to try. I think, it never really crossed our mind, what if we fail? Because I guess we never had any expectations. It was always just about, for us, look, we really love this, we're really passionate about it. Coming to the end of 2019, we had developed a huge fan base of people in Israel that really loved what we did. And because of our upbringing of South Africa, Australia, and whatever, our taste in music was unique. So people resonated with that. And then start of 2020, we took a bit of a leap of faith, went to Los Angeles, City of Dreams, because we got introduced to a family friend. And he was like, you guys are really cool, like come over to LA. So we did. We literally just, you can ask our moms watching and our family in South Africa, but they all knew that we literally just booked a plane ticket and we left like just like that. We didn't know what was going on. We had no idea. We just went there. And anyway, long story short, the pandemic hit, right? And to a lot of people, you know, you could take it really to heart and be like, my whole world has just come crashing down. But I guess our perspective that we took was, you know what, the pandemic's hit, we can't really change that. But hey, guess what? It's a blessing for us because now we came back to Oz, we spent 14 hours a day for the first, I guess, 3-4 months, because we didn't have a job as well. When we got back, we spent 4 months for 14 hours a day working on our skill, honing in on our craft. Over a year ago at the time, we also got signed to management. It was actually April last year, we got this opportunity to release the track that we just did. We kind of just plugged away at it every single day for the last sort of just on 2 years. And I think for a lot of people, it's very easy to get demotivated when you don't really see the results of the input that you put in. You know, we've spent a lot of time, a lot of money, almost every single weekend and whatever at night, pouring time into it. Long story short, it's all starting to happen now. Now, we're not famous by any means. We may never get there. But the point is that we're just having a super fun time doing what we love. And, you know, I guess we just hope that we catch a lucky break and along the way. And if not, we learned a lot of things through the entire process. It's a bit of a nutshell, I guess.
They're not famous yet, but you heard it here first, okay? When they're all over the world, you can say we were there at the beginning. We knew the fines before they were called.
Exactly.
Okay, that's awesome. I have a few questions for you guys. First of all, what, I guess for people who have multiple passions, you guys still work for EdTech or FinTech, I think EdTech, you were working for FinTech at the time in Israel. How did you, and you said that it was a huge leap of faith, you know, going through music, even though you had no idea if it would fail. What gave you that confidence? What gave you that kind of, was it intuition that you kind of just loved music and that's what pulled you, or what was it that pushed you to take that jump?
I think everything, we keep things quite black and white, and everything that we do is pretty logical. I think if there was a big risk, for example, to doing music, maybe it wouldn't have been so easy for us to give it a go. But I think it's also like perspective as well. It's the way we choose to look at things. So for example, you know, we've continued our full-time jobs throughout the whole experience. Even in Israel, we were working full-time and we were doing this in addition. And it was crazy because we were working for a company that was based in Israel, but dealing with America and Australia. So we used to work like from 11 at night till 6 in the morning. So it was all like over the place. But we did it in addition. I think that's the key takeaway, is that we didn't have to sacrifice anything. We were smart about the way that we did it, in the sense that we didn't put a break on our career for 3 years. So the reason we're confident to give it a go is because we're not sacrificing anything to make it happen. We just, the busier we become, if something's important to us, we find a way to squeeze it in. And then we're just not afraid of failing. Like the worst thing that could happen to us is that we go nowhere, but we had fun for 3 years. But the best thing that's happened is that there's huge upside, and eventually we can do what we are passionate about every single day. And that's the thing that just motivates us day in, day out. It's that goal that we're chasing. And we just, you know, we know we're going to have like knocks along the way, and people will say it's not going to happen or whatever, you're doing the impossible. But for us, we just do it and we don't think too much about it. And the small wins just keep us going.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's a really important thing, to not overthink everything and just take small steps. And that's the main thing, to take it to action and just do what you've got to do. So that's awesome. I can see there's, or most of us, there's a lot of comments that we want to hear your music. Do you guys, will you be able to share some of it?
Can we share audio through Zoom?
I don't know.
I think we can. If we screen share, I think we can share.
If you go to advanced screen share,
Share sound.
If you want us to hear sounds coming through from your computer. Okay, let's try this, guys. We didn't plan on this to happen. We didn't really.
sometimes the best things come unexpected.
Can you guys screen okay?
Yeah, we can see it. I can't hear anything yet.
We can
Can you
see.
still hear us? I don't know. Can anybody hear us?
We can hear you. Yep,
Ready for
we
the
hear.
bangers.
No, we can't. We can't.
When for a banger.
Hear you.
Can anyone hear us?
Yes, we can't hear music yet.
Could anybody hear us talking, by the way?
Yep.
Yes.
We can
I can't
talking.
hear anything. Oh, oops.
If you go to advanced screen settings, you can usually play music.
Well, we're on share. Oh, we're going to share if we share the desktop. Can you guys still hear us?
Yes.
Yeah. Try
Okay.
playing something just from like Spotify or something.
Okay, cool. No, it's probably going to be easy if I could just. Oh, shoot. How do I even see this? Hold on. Oops. Find a window. Might just go on SoundCloud. That's going to be so much easier. It's not working. Hold on. I think I've got to share this. I think I've got to share the SoundCloud window again. If I can. Safari. There we go. Can you see the Safari window now? Yeah, you should be able to.
Yeah, we can see the Safari window.
We're following the funnel, right?
That's the handle name. Unfortunately, the name Fine was taken on pretty much all of them. So we're just going to go. Actually, this is cool. So we're going to go into one of our playlists. It's all of our new signed, unreleased music that nobody has actually ever
Whoa,
heard.
we're hearing it first.
So we can show you. Yeah, this one will be pretty good. I'm going to skip halfway through it. Can you guys just let me know if you can hear this? Over here.
Can't hear anything. I can't hear anything.
I hear everything.
Yeah, so you kind of get the idea. Hold on, I can't really hear again. Maybe
It's sick. It's sick. I can't wait to party to your music.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
Our plan is that was 5 there. There's already 3 other signed tracks. A lot of them are actually signed to Melbourne labels as well, because our plan is to really try and grow here in Melbourne. So every single month for at least the next 6 months, one of those tracks will be released. And, hopefully after 6 tracks time, when the world opens up again, we'll be playing at Pawn & Co, Revel, Revolver upstairs on Chapel, 161, those sorts of places for those guys that are in Melbourne.
That is incredible, guys. I love that. I love your style. Love the music. Thanks for sharing it. Yeah, guys, follow their hand or follow the Fine. More good stuff. More coming. And yeah, we would love to get you guys for a live event once that's.
Thank you.
We actually spoke about it with Yossi when we had breakfast at a few weeks ago when we first met. Actually, it was meant to be the The party, the thingy, Brian, you know that one.
Super Art Party, and it had a
Wow, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that was going to be a Super Art Party night of connectivity with Save a Child's Heart Foundation.
With
Yeah,
Hannah.
super sad.
But I tell you what, we actually are set up for live streaming. So because we do stuff at home here, we're all set up to actually professionally do a live stream with audio and everything. So we could always do a Zoom party if we wanted to.
Yes, I'm in.
Let's do it. We missed the music, so we're gonna have to. Are you guys on Spotify? We missed it.
can
So.
do a
Yeah, we're on Spotify.
All
We'll send
right.
you a link.
Well, yeah, we'll listen to it later because
Breakfast Club.
it didn't work.
Yeah,
on my-
perfect.
Welcome back. man.
Guys, that is officially the end of our formal program, but everyone's so invited to stay on and schmooze. We haven't seen each other in a while, so totally stay on, ask the fine guys any questions or just, hang out. I will say as well that we will be back here next week. Date and time not confirmed yet, but we're going to be doing a similar idea for Yom Kippur. If anyone wants to learn a bit more about Yom Kippur, get into the spirit of that, and then we'll be doing it again for Sukkot. The Sukkot one is going to be great. We've got some comedians booked for that one. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Michael Shafar. He's a Jewish comedian. He's great.
Yeah, he's good.
Coming up. And also, if you want to hear the shofar on Tuesday or Wednesday, which is Rosh Hashanah, Project High Holidays is arranging those volunteers, as I said before. You can still sign up, not to get one to your house, but you can just see a list of where they're going to be on both of those days. They'll be at a park or public area near you. Alternatively, Yossi and I are going to be standing outside our residence with the shofar. In order for it to be legal, it is click and collect. So you will click and collect basically just a small apple and honey package, just so that you're able to come by and collect your package and listen to the shofar. So the form is in there. Yossi just posted it in the chat. If you are interested in that, if you're going on your 2-hour walk or getting some exercise anyway, and you want to come by, say hi, listen to the shofar, just fill in that form. And we're sitting outside anyway, so would love to see you. Yeah, it's so nice to see you guys. Thanks so much for coming. This was so fun. And yeah, thanks.
I'll be blowing shofar in South Caulfield for whoever wants. Get in touch with me. Otherwise, I'll be blowing in Caulfield as well at
Come to Windsor, please.
12 o'clock.
Can you PHA? Are you a Project High Holidays volunteer, or is that just your own?
I am. No, I am. I'm doing it for 2 streets in Caulfield, Moore Street and Trager something on, I don't know.
How do we know what time the shofar will be? blown?
Argentina.
If you want to do,
Are you in Caulfield or South Caulfield?
Trigonini.
No, we're in Windsor. A 5 kilometer radius,
No,
so
well, you could go to Alex's as well.
I could organize that with you.
yeah.
I
perfect.
also know that someone else is blowing the shofar at the Tam in the afternoon. I can let you guys know too.
Awesome, thank you.
if you go on PHH's website, phh.org.au, they have a list there of all the parks and all the streets and times people are going to be there.
Awesome.
So literally, no matter how far you will, to an extent, but if you live 20 minutes within the area, they're coming close to you. It's really amazing what they've done.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool.
Yeah, good stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is anyone else staying on? Like on the Zoom?
First round, what's next?
Play more music because we missed it. Play another tune if that's right.
Okay.
Hangers on.
Yeah, will you do that, and I'll just get a drink.
Sunday
I've been
session.
drinking water, but I don't want to feel left out. I'll get the good stuff.
We've got
where's the
wine. Organic, it's organic.
Can I just say for anybody that likes Scotch, try this. If you
Oh,
can.
it's here. Benjamin is drinking Star Wars.
Hey, Star Wars.
It's good. Australian made.
Dan Andrews would prove that is the top shelf.